Well, let's talk politics. President Joe Biden will remain in the city most of today following his address to the United Nations General Assembly yesterday.
He took the opportunity to touch on the wars in Ukraine and Gaza, even as protests filled Midtown. Good day's Briella Tomassetti is at the United Nations this morning with the very latest. Briella, what's happening?
Yeah, Dan and Tashani, good morning to both of you. President Biden's appearance here at the UN marked one of his last chances to push the international community to uphold support for Ukraine and strike a ceasefire deal in the Middle East. Bad news for commuters and city dwellers, though. The president is not expected to leave town until tonight. That means the traffic nightmare isn't over quite yet.
My fellow leaders, let us never forget, some things are more important than staying in power. It's your people.
In his final address to the UN General Assembly, President Biden was met with a round of applause as he recounted his decision not to run for re-election. Biden reflected on the accomplishments and challenges he faced in office and urged leaders to work together toward peace and a better future.
The world must not flinch from the horrors of October 7th.
During his high-profile speech, Biden called for an end to the war in Gaza as tensions in the Middle East surge, prompting the Pentagon to send more troops to the region. More back-and-forth fire between Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon is bringing the two sides even closer to an all-out war.
I put forward with Qatar and Egypt a ceasefire and hostage deal. It's been endorsed by the UN Security Council. Now is the time for the parties to finalize its terms. Bring the hostages home.
Biden also continued rallying support to defend Ukraine and raised concerns over artificial intelligence. But despite global conflicts, he remained hopeful for the future.
I know many look at the world today and see difficulties and react with despair, but I do not. I won't.
The commander-in-chief will remain in the Big Apple for much of the day, hosting meetings and receptions until he departs for the White House tonight. That means another day of dreaded gridlock traffic. And quite possibly another day of protests. Police made several arrests last night at a protest called Flood Midtown for Lebanon. Video shows large crowds gathered along 2nd Avenue near 43rd Street.
Let our people go!
Demonstrators also came out in support of Israel on the Upper East Side. They protested outside the Palestinian Authority mission for what they call the group's continued support of terror.
As a nation.
Looking ahead, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and several other foreign leaders plan to meet with both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump at some point this week. For now, we're live here on the East Side outside the United Nations. Dan and Tashani, back to you.
Briella, thank you.